Hi, welcome to Remember This. I'm your host, Denise Boland. I am so excited to have with me today two stage, film, and television legends. Joining me is actor and playwright Dan Lauria, who is best known as the stern but loving dad Jack Arnold on the iconic TV show The Wonder Years. And Patty McCormack, who is best known for her incredible performance as Rhoda Penmark in the Broadway play and then adapted film The Bad Seed, in which she was nominated for an Oscar. Guys, welcome to the show. It is such an honor to have you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Denise.
Thanks for coming to the play.
Yeah.
Yes. My gosh, it was amazing. And I was so happy to bring Brenda Vaccaro. She can't stop raving about it. She absolutely loved you guys in it.
She was so sweet.
Yeah.
What a pleasure to meet her and to get those kind of compliments from, a true artist.
Really.
Yeah.
She's full of beans too. She's got a lot of energy.
A lot of energy, yeah.
And fun. Fun.
Yes.
Likes to laugh.
Yes.
Really a wonderful woman.
She really. And the stories, I love spending time with her because of the stories. And the same with you guys. It was, it was great sitting with you that night after the show and just hearing the stories.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good night.
It comes with old age.
Hey, I'm right up there with you.
And the other thing is being able to tell them again and having them sound new to everyone.
That's right.
You
gotta hang out with.
It's like going out, like 8 shows a week. Yeah.
And that's really what your play is about. Each day you meet, it's like meeting for the first time, right? So let's talk about your play, Just Another Day, which is playing at the Theater 555 in New York City. And Patty was just telling me before on the 28th, it'll be ending at 8:30.
27th.
27th.
Thursday the 27th.
Yeah, so you can get back for the debate.
It ends early, so
it's not a long play, even with the intermission, where it's way less than 2 hours.
Yeah. We start at 7.
Yeah, we're usually down by 8:45.
So we'll be able to watch the debate too.
Yeah.
I think maybe at a sports bar or something right around the corner. I don't know.
It's in a great location on 46.
Or on our phone, maybe on our
Yeah,
phone.
isn't that a nice location? I mean, people say Theater 555, it's near 11th Avenue. It's pretty far west, but it's so nice. So it's right across from a police station. There's wonderful restaurants around. West Side Steakhouse, La Bella, very
quiet.
Yeah, very quiet area.
Yep.
And apparently a lot of people are moving there into those high-rise buildings.
High-rise, yeah.
It's like a new spot.
I know.
Well, I work for UPS, so I was working in the building across the street, so I watched them build those high rises. I was there when they were building them.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I was telling Dan that night when I came outside, I didn't know where I was until I came out and I saw UPS is there because none of that was there. The restaurant, none of that was there.
Oh, no.
All newly built and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful.
Yeah, it really is pretty.
So our friends who have come there, who are New Yorkers, said, we didn't know this area was like this. So that's helped bringing some of the audience in. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so tell us, Dan, how did you get the idea for this play?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, we all have relatives or friends that are going through dementia. A dear friend of mine, Patty Auger, her father, who I've known for years, he's having problem with dementia, and he doesn't remember me. But when we go up and see him, if we talk about the New York Yankees, he goes back to when he was 5 years old, and he'll tell you about seeing Babe Ruth and, he knows every batting average, every name, and then he works his way up. And after a while, he actually knows me. Now, he won't remember. I might have seen him the day before. So I just found that all the plays and movies I've seen on dementia or Alzheimer's have to do with the family. But our play is just 2 people with dementia meeting every day, and I made them comedy writers. So there's no limits. The boundaries are wide open. So we meet and we write comedy. So I don't know how you can have a comedy about dementia, but we have a lot of laughs in ours.
Mhm.
But of course, when reality catches up, we go into the sad moments, but we bounce back. And
Right.
that's, and I think the nature of if you really wanted a one-liner about the play, it's the creative spirit never dies. You know, no matter what, as long as I have a line in a play, as long as we create, we are not lost.
Mhm.
And it's been fun. And we've been getting a lot of, matter of fact, where the houses have been growing. And it's
Yeah.
not because we have money for advertising. It's just word of mouth, which is the best way for
It is
it.
the best way.
So nice.
Yeah.
And it's always much more fun for the audience, the fuller the audience is. Because people sometimes want to be polite if it's scattered. You know, if the audience is scattered and not sitting right on top of each other, and they're embarrassed to laugh alone because, you know, but it's so terrific when it's packed.
Yeah. Oh, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. And you can feel the more they're into the play, the seriousness of the play, the more they welcome the humor.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of set them up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I
it's,
like that you pull them in.
I'm hoping a lot of
them in.
regional theaters will do it because it's so simple. It's two people on a bench.
Yeah.
You know, it's one set. And you can do it like love letters. You can actually have two elderly actors sit there and read it. And hopefully it can be used for fundraisers for regional theaters.
It would be wonderful. There's no limits on the age of the actor now
Yeah.
if you do it that way, because they can read it. And otherwise, it's quite an event to learn this material. You need time,
Yeah, you need time.
and
So,
we had plenty of time. So
like right now, Joe Montaigne and Gene Smart, dear friends of mine, they're gonna read it to help raise money for the National Veterans Foundation. So, you know, there's ways of using this to help a lot of different charities.
you know what I was thinking too, Dan, about the play is that you spark, like when you say something in dialogue, it sparks my memory, just like you were talking about
Yeah.
Patty Auger's dad,
Right.
like the Yankees. So you would do a joke or, you know, whatever, and
Right. And it's in the first act, it's really me getting her to be the comedy writer again. And in the second act, it's her getting me to write the comedy.
he's lost a little bit in the second act.
Right. She's
Yeah.
she
And
just
I've become tough. You know,
Right.
kind of tough.
so, but then once we fall into it, you know, we have fun and
Yeah.
you know, reality sets in, but
But
we
it
have
is,
a few laughs along
that's
the way.
it is the huge difference, is that it's the people's journey that
Mm.
they get to watch.
Yes.
Not the family
Not the
watching them,
family, not doctors, not
not how
medical.
they're affected, or who has the responsibility, or who, it's the people as they wake up in the morning and spend their day and end the day. And that's a little, what would you call it, a vision into
Yes.
Yeah, you're a boy, you're looking
Yes,
into
yes.
the
Through their
people's-
eyes.
of those people,
Absolutely.
really.
And I would think that would be like some kind of healing for family members watching it, because they're seeing the disease you know, through
Yeah.
their eyes, through the eyes of the ones that are
We-
experiencing.
We've gotten a lot of rave reviews and which I'm very appreciative of, but for me, the best comment we ever had was we did a Q&A, and this one woman in her 40s, she said, "I'm going through this with my mother. Thank you for not making them stupid."
Mm.
And that,
Right.
you know, that meant a lot to me.
Yeah. That kind of says it all.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have such great chemistry. Like, how did you meet, first of all, and how did you, Patty, get involved with the play?
We know each other forever, but we
Yeah.
met on Head of the Class.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
Howard-
going back a few.
Howard Hessman
Yeah.
was the
He was great.
lead. He was good. And so many people. Oh, I forgot now. The kids, the two
Well, I
kids.
think-
It doesn't matter.
Robin Givens.
They're all-
Yeah, they were all
Oh,
on that
yes.
show.
Yes. So who did you play? Did you play teachers?
No, we played
Eric's.
Eric's mom and dad who were divorced, and I was an alcoholic, and we had to go for family night.
And we hated each other.
Yeah,
We never had a
nothing's
scene.
changed.
We no. We never actually had it. We're in the same seat. You had a bigger part than I. I just
Yeah, I
came
had
in
that
disgruntled,
Yeah.
kind of disgruntled. And
She just walked in and told everybody what a bum I was and
Yeah.
walked out. Yeah.
looking good though.
You're
I was
looking good. I like
Nothing's changed.
it. So, but that was a long while ago. And we've done a number of readings since then. And we even did a couple of plays together. So,
Yeah, that's true. We did mornings at 7
yeah.
a couple of years ago.
And this play, we were supposed to do it in Ellenville, New York at Shadowland Stages. And Amanda Plummer had a family problem and had to leave. And Patty came in with 2 days rehearsal, but did it with book in hand. So that laid the ground for it. Then I did it in the Berkshires with a great actress, Jody Long. But then, so we had reviews. We did it the old fashioned way. We went out of town, got rave reviews before we came to New York. And then when we came to New York, we had a 3-week delay that we weren't. So we had a lot of time to work on the script.
Yeah.
And we're still working. We put in cuts just this week.
Yeah.
So we're still working.
And some of us mess them up once in a while.
That's
So-
fun on set.
What's great about it is we don't know when you mess up because we don't. We don't
No,
know.
especially if we're two characters who are not all there anyway.
That's right. It works.
As long as we don't look to the woman in the wings,
When the
or,
wings, yeah.
or say line, then we're okay. We tread water. We do well.
Yep. So
So
It's fun. It's fun.
I loved it. I truly enjoyed it. I'm going to go back and see it again. I'm going to come on the final show. I'm going to be there for that. And like I said, Brenda keeps telling me how much she loved it and she loves you guys. She loved meeting you. So it was priceless.
it was what an honor to meet her.
Yeah.
I had actually never, all those readings, I never met her. I had a reading series in LA and twice she actually read, this is a long time ago. And both times I was out of town. So I wasn't,
I just remember how funny she was. I also remember, this is a little bit of out of school stuff, but years ago, Michael Douglas was on Streets of San Francisco.
Yes.
And I think that's when they were a couple.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. And so I knew of her, and I thought, oh, how glamorous it is. They're, a couple and that's how I remember her. And I don't know. I don't know anything else because I never saw her all those years.
One thing I could say is she always avoided scandal. Like she said several times they wanted to write about her relationship with Michael Douglas. And she's like, no, it's okay. There's nothing to share. And that's why a lot of people are shocked when they find out that they were together for 7 years. A lot of people didn't know that because she wasn't out there.
Well, they're both good people. They're both very dedicated to their art. And they really don't have anything bad to say about each other. In our business, you know how they feed on the bad and they don't publicize the good. So I have respect for both of them for doing that.
Yeah.
But I was close with Peter Falk and he was very critical of the people he worked with. He only liked working with really dedicated actors and he loved her. So he always said she can act, she can deliver the freight.
Yeah. She could play this too.
Oh, she could sit on the bench and read this for sure. She'd have a ball.
Yeah, she would. Uh-oh.
I think you're safe. So you guys, you have an extensive career between the two of you. I'm not going to say how many years, but you have a lot under your belt. Patty, most people don't know this, but you were such a successful child actor that Patty Duke was named after you.
I've read so few of the biographies, but I read hers and there it was. And she finally got an opportunity to be called Anna. And I think that was the name of the book.
Call Me Anna.
Call Me Anna.
Yeah, no, I did a series with her. She always said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Patty goes back further, and most people don't realize that The Miracle Worker, before it was a movie, before it was a play, it was a Playhouse 90, and Patty was the original Helen Keller with Teresa Wright and Burl Ives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the director whose name I always forget, I don't know
Yeah.
why, but same director as the play and the film. Not funny.
I can't.
Yeah, it's out of my book right now.
Right.
But that's going back to live television.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, young kids they can't even comprehend that. When you were doing a scripted show, while you're doing it, it's in your living room.
Right.
Yes.
We still have some kinescopes of those, but kinescopes were a film camera that framed a TV set because there was no tape. You know?
Oh, that is right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they didn't break for commercial. They would just finish their line and then start showing you like a can of coffee or something, right?
You do a dramatic scene and the camera swings over and a lady sells you a refrigerator.
Yes.
And when after she sells you the refrigerator, comes back and you start crying again. I mean, you had to be a real pro to do that.
As a kid, Peggy Wood on I Remember Mama
Uh-huh.
used to be Mama, and then she had her, accent, her Norwegian accent, and then she moved over to the kitchen and did the Maxwell House coffee commercial. So, and then
within the talk about product placement.
Yes.
oh yeah, right.
All right, stop yelling at me, dear. Hi, buy some Maxwell coffee. But I mean, we just don't get called up like that anymore. There's not that kind. Even theater, if you screw up, you got another. Tomorrow you go back and we can do it again. But that was live, done once and gone.
And it's funny that
it's opening night every night.
Yeah.
Very
I'm
true.
thinking the commercial thing too, that that was included in being an actor,
Yes.
especially a star.
You
of
didn't
the
get
show.
paid extra. For
No,
that.
and you were expected to listen, and the sponsors were gone
Yeah, because the sponsors
because
owned
they
the show.
really paid for everything. So,
That's right.
You didn't report to the network. You
No.
reported to the sponsor.
and then I remember later on, older in the union, they made a big deal about, you can't make me, push this product, blah, 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 blah. But yes, they did.
Yeah. Well,
They did
there
that
were
way.
no rules then. I think when
So
people
funny.
are talking about all this AI stuff coming in, the rules are all going to be changed again. Because they're going to say to you, look, if you don't want to sell the product, we'll just have an image of you sell it.
It'll be our
Yeah.
fault. It'll be our fault.
We're getting too smart for our own good. Yeah. So now, Dan, I just tell you, you were amazing as Jack Arnold. And I told Allie this. I said, you and Dan brought me back to my childhood because my father was just like your character. He was stern, he was serious, but then he'd, come home with like candy or a toy or something, he's, very, so the way you portrayed the character, just,
Well, we had great writers, Bob Rush and Neil Marlin, Carol Black, who created it. They created that character, and then Bob Rush wrote most of them. But it was funny because the LA Times once on Father's Day, they said, which TV dad would you have liked to be your father? And I wasn't even on the list. 2 years later, they said, which TV dad was most like the dad you had? I was number one. So nobody wanted me, but everybody had me. Yeah, they all wanted,
it's true.
the Brady Bunch or
Right.
Robert Reed or somebody like that.
Right.
But in real life,
No.
I was the one they had.
Families, households would not like that.
Yeah.
The Wonder Years was more true to life. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think the reason why that show was such a success, more so than say something like Brooklyn Bridge, was all the other TV shows about children. They always tried to make the lead child smarter than everyone else. But in our show, a lot of times the show would end with the narrator saying, if I knew then what I know now, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
So it was a learning curve. And that's why it always won the Peabody Award. And they still show some of the episodes in elementary schools.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
And you were seeing it through the life of Kevin, which was unique.
Yeah.
Be it through the eyes of the child.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my favorite episode, and then we're gonna move on to Betty. My favorite episode was the pottery. The Pepsi. Where's my Pepsi? It was great.
Yeah, and it was nice the way they had Allie and I make up. It wasn't a big scene. It was she burnt herself on the iron. I said, "You're okay," and next thing you know, we were hugging.
Yeah.
And it was done in a simple way.
Yeah. That show was amazing. It touched the lives of so many, and whether you're laughing or crying through it, it just felt so good.
Yeah, like our play. Yeah, we'll have you pull out your hanky and wipe a tear, and then next minute you're laughing. You hear a one-liner that you haven't.
Right.
Absolutely. And I did. I cried during your play. I laughed and I cried. I like that you mentioned you're from Brooklyn.
Yes.
Hey.
Oh,
so yeah.
Both of you from Brooklyn.
Yeah, we're all from Brooklyn. Isn't
everyone?
Forget about it.
Yeah.
So a question that I have, it could be to both of you. Dan, you played Jimmy Hoffa, you played Vince Lombardi, and Patty, you played Patricia Nixon.
Oh, yeah.
So is there a difference, when you're portraying a real person as opposed to just a made-up character? Do you feel like you're using less of your creativity because you have to be more like that person?
More of it.
Yeah. Well, again, it really depends on the script. My father was a Teamster. No matter what trouble Hoffa got into, my father voted for him because he got better benefits and everything else. And when I had to play him, Jimmy Hoffa's son came to the play, and I was a little worried about it. And he came backstage, the first one, and said, "No, my father was just what you did." And I tried to give him as much humanity as I could. He was loved by the Teamsters, by the men in the union, and I concentrated on that.
Yeah. I think that's true about the love thing. I remember I had a very small role as Pat Nixon in the
with Frank Langella.
Yeah, with Frank Langella. And I remember reading a lot about the fact that she really did love him, and was worried for him often, because he wasn't doing things that maybe were okay.
No, they were dedicated to each other.
Yeah. And so with that was my thrust, was that I was his wife and I was his partner, and I was in it for the long run, and I was his protector. Although he kind of put her off on the side a little bit, but she went with that too.
Yeah, even that might have been a way of him protecting her.
It could be. Yep.
Well, yeah. I love, Dan, that you said Semper Fi, and thank you for your service.
Oh,
for those that don't know, you served in the United States Marines.
Yeah. And once a Marine. So, and it fit the play so well. Semper Fi means always faithful.
Yeah. And they do have nice uniforms.
They get
that's my life.
There's some really great lines in this play. What I loved was the very beginning. I'm not really giving anything away, but it's a beautiful theme song, and you show old movie clips. And
that theme song was written by Lord Graham Russell of Air Supply, and he read the script. He's an old friend, and he really wants to work on a Broadway musical, but he doesn't want to use Air Supply music. He wants to write all new stuff. He's a very creative guy. So he's traveling around. He said, "Send me a copy of your play. I'd like to read it." And he wrote that song we start the play with it. And while we play the entire song, and while it's playing, we show those clips from old movies, which is part of the play.
Yeah.
It's not some extraneous thing that's
it's
lopped onto it. It's part of the play.
And he sings it with his wife or girlfriend, and
it's wonderful.
My God, what a voice she has.
Yeah, and the reaction from the audience.
Beautiful.
And you always hear the older people going, "Oh, that's Cary Grant." And every once in a while, you'll hear some young kid go, "Who's Rosalind Russell?" Yeah. And I want to come out from behind a curtain and hit them.
I know. I get it.
then
I
you
once worked
find
with a
out-
girl that said, "Who's Donnie and Marie?" I'm like, huh?
What?
Yeah. And then when you
Wow.
find out the young person is an actor and they didn't know who Cary Grant was, it's like, playing baseball, not knowing who Babe Ruth is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And they give you that excuse about, well, I wasn't born then. That's why you have the line even before we were,
Yeah, part of our parents.
and we didn't have all the options.
Yeah. And we got, it's part of our past too because of our parents,
Yeah.
and
Staying
what
up
they
for-
had on
Yeah.
while we were little.
Staying up for the late show.
Yes. Just like the music, they played, 40s music, 50s music, and we knew all the songs.
Yeah, your audience right now can Google Playhouse 90 Project Immortality,
Oh, yeah.
and you'll see Patty as a young teenager, by 13, 14. She's playing Lee J. Cobb's daughter, and he's playing a brilliant physicist who the government wants to put his mind in the new computers. And it's about AI. It was 1959.
He's
Wow.
done.
He's dying of leukemia, and they want to put his mind.
Save his mind. And my brother in it is
Michael Landon before Bonanza.
Wow.
Watch the whole thing. You just Google it, and it just shows
really
you
good.
And it's a great interview with Rod Serling with Mike Wallace 2 months before Twilight Zone, and he talks about how television has to be used to inform, get audiences to think, and now we're just stimulating. 90% of the shows start with a dead body. How did it get here? I mean, you're not going to question anything. You're not going to think about anything. It's sad.
Well, it's like they don't leave any room for, thought today. Everything is just laid out there for you, and they tell you what you should feel, right?
Yeah, yeah. And everybody is worried about AI. I'm worried about who's going to control AI. You get the wrong people who say, no, AI will not do anything progressive, will not ever mention anything about the environment. Well, then you're cut off.
Yep. Well, we've left the children with it
Yeah.
with an interesting job.
Yeah. Well, we can only hope that things will get better. I don't know. All right, I have a tough question for the both of you.
Okay.
This question was asked of Pat Boone. So I'm going to ask you guys, if you had to pick one performance or piece of work to define your entire career, what would you pick?
The next one.
Like that.
I can't top that. Boy. I can't.
My mentor, Charles Durning, always said, don't look back.
Don't
I
look
mean,
back.
I don't like talking about the Wonder Years, but I'd rather talk about the next thing we're going to do.
Yeah, and there is never one job. If you're sort of a character person, where you play different parts, not just the same one over and over, you can't define yourself by one job because it's a piece of what you've done, like a puzzle. Maybe, the picture at the end would be easier to look at, but when you're in the middle of it or towards the end of it, it's hard to rise up and make a determination like that. It's too hard. Yeah, somebody else would have to do that. Define it. So, yep, those were all parts of her except that. That was a stretch.
Yeah. Well,
You know what I mean?
yeah. And if you were on a show or did a classic movie like her, everybody's expecting you to mention that TV show or that classic movie. But we wouldn't have even gotten that if we hadn't done things before that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like I said, it's better to say, whenever I'm asked, what's your favorite role? The next one.
That is good.
That is good.
Let's hope there's,
Let's hope.
always.
Yeah. Well, if it
Absolutely.
isn't, we'll write another one.
Yeah, there you go.
That was going to be my next question. What is the next one? Do you have anything that you're thinking about, or Not
Yeah,
yet.
I've been working on one that's, again, I'm not a writer who acts, I'm an actor who writes. So I take my time. I like to rewrite. So most writers don't.
Huh.
But I'm writing one about an old writer and a young writer, and the woman who says she's their agent, but she's really, they don't need critics anymore. So that's what, and it's about the three of them. And again, like this play about language and how we're losing it. And it's kind of like the movie The Front. The older writer wants, they won't, like my play, I can't tell you, the play you saw, how many theater companies would not even read it because it was written by a 75-year-old writer. They can't get grants. So to me, the biggest prejudice in the country, more so than prejudice towards Black Americans or gay Americans or Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, Native Americans, and I say greater because it encompasses all of them, is the prejudice to the aged. You know, the one constant word in every grant you read will be young. Young Black writers, young writers of diversity, young female writers, young Asian writers. It'll go right down the list.
LGBTQ.
Yeah, all that. And that's
When did
yeah,
that start?
change the words on the page.
Is that just recent that it's been like that? I mean,
Well, I think it's an overreaction, you know, I'm all for the politically correctness, but again, like anything else, you take it to the point where you hurt people or you hurt the theater more than you help it.
Mhm.
Now the backlash to that is, God knows where that's come from.
well, I feel if you sometimes they want to cater to the 2% and the heck with the 98%.
Right.
Has to
And
be fair across the board.
Yeah, I'm debating on how the next play is going to end. Right now, I would like the young writer. When I started writing it, he's dumb and the old writer's smart, but that was an ego thing. Now I made them both smart and it works much better. And the young writer is going to help the old writer. He's going to put his name on it. But at the end, they lose to, right now, I'm thinking they lose to a script written by a machine. You know,
That's interesting.
yeah, and
Very
at first I
telling.
thought, oh, it's too much of a Twilight Zone, but I don't know. By the time I finish writing it, it might be real.
Yeah, it's like we're living in a Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The woman could turn on having been a critic. and-
no, I
and put her
actually,
name on.
you know, I took a couple of shots at critics in the play you saw. In this play, the critic has, because of my friend Phil, who's been to the play.
Yeah.
He gave me some insight into what a good critic would do, and which is gone now. I mean, you get more people coming to the theater or to a movie from what your neighbor might write on Facebook than you do from somebody who dedicated their life to going to theater or watching movies. So that's a shame, I think. So we went from people who knew too much criticizing to people who know nothing criticizing, and we never found that middle ground.
And I don't think age has anything to do with it. I really don't. I mean, you guys are amazing at your craft, and how you memorize all those lines, I don't know. It's a lot of dialogue.
Good question.
But you guys are totally amazing, and you really bring it. And I like that you connect with the audience. You know,
Yeah, that is fun.
I
I
love
was
that.
afraid of that at first.
Yeah.
Remember?
Oh yeah,
I thought it was, the sin against
theater.
theater. But yeah,
But we're
Breaking the fourth wall.
practice our stuff, you know. So,
now I really like it.
and she has the oldest joke in the world, and every night she gets a laugh.
Don't tell it. though.
No, I won't tell a joke. But she comes out. I mean, I wasn't trying to write anything creative or new. She's just trying to make a point. And she goes out and tells this old joke. And every night, I don't care how quiet, sometimes you get those quiet audiences, she brings down the house. She does a great Jack Benny in the middle of between the setup and the punch.
I begged for a laugh.
Yeah.
That's great.
Like he used to do. You know what I mean?
He'd wait
Yes.
And so, I could be there all night.
Yeah.
You want to go home?
But yeah, you're not, I'm not leaving until you left. But it works. It's just, it amazes me.
I love it. And it's nostalgia. You know, you include the nostalgia. And that's my show is Remember This, because it's all about nostalgia. And,
Gosh,
you know, no matter what's going on in the world, as crazy and scary as it is, when you reminisce, it feels so good. And you can't go back, but it feels so good when you look back and just remember, you know.
we always talk about how, you know, we grew up when there were female comedians who made jokes about their husbands.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Look
And
at
there were male comedians making jokes about their wives. You can't do that.
No,
no,
I don't
no.
know how comedians do it today.
No.
I
Getting
know.
canceled.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
It really is.
Maybe there'll be underground rooms where comedians are allowed to perform, you know, and start with.
I don't know.
Imagine if we had to get to that point. Like bootleggers.
I made my 18-year-old godson watch All in the Family. And for 20 minutes, he was going, you can't say that. You can't do that. And then after around 20 minutes, he went, oh, they're making fun of him. And I said, yes, Dodo.
That was the whole idea.
But now it's like his favorite show.
Huh.
He thinks we ought to be writing that about politicians today. I said, we're not allowed to.
Yeah.
But we were allowed to laugh.
Yeah.
It's funny you said that because I watch All in the Family.
Ah.
I watch it every night because we have Catchy Comedy is one of the channels I get. And I tell my kids all the time, see, you can't say that today. But nobody cared back then because we laughed. Because you know what? The Jeffersons, they were making, you know, everybody's making fun of everybody. But we
Right.
laughed.
And what I thought the best part about it was whatever you were laughing about, remember that old thing? That's going to be at the water cooler. The next day at work, you were going to be talking about it. Well, come on, they went a little far with that one. Oh, no. But it would stimulate thought about what was going on,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So we, you know, now the comedy is so 2 lines joke, 2 lines joke, you know, it's not situational at all.
I'll tell you, I'll take watching an old movie or old sitcoms from the 70s over what they're showing today. And
Yeah, because that's storyline. Yeah.
and Wonder Years, after my husband passed away, I went to a little bit, I don't want to say depression because I have children, you have to stay strong, but you know, sadness. And just watching the Wonder Years really got me through, you know. It just, like I said, you cry, you know, over the sad things and you laugh over and it was a healing for me. It really was. So I want to thank you for that.
I'm
And
still in touch with Bob Brush. I'll share that with him.
yeah, please do. And we need programming like that today. We really do. We need to get back to basics, I think.
This Is Us was,
Yes.
Was
I saw you in that too. You're
Yeah.
amazing.
that was really,
Dan Fogelman. I'm still hoping he'll come. He sent me a nice email. He's a great writer, but I think the reason why he cast me in Pitch, well, I know it is because he said, not only did I see you do Lombardi, he said what you said about the Wonder Years. He said, I want to try to get that same feeling, you know, make people laugh, make them cry, and make them feel this is real life. You know?
Yeah.
Real life is up and down. It's never that constant thing.
That's
Yeah.
right.
There's
And
no
Patty, I told you,
formula.
I'm sorry, Dan.
There's no formula to real life.
That's right. And I think, you know, when we can identify with the characters and feel like, yeah, this could be me or this is happening to me, I think it's just more of a connection than watching a fluffy show that quick one-liners. You can't relate to the characters. It really doesn't do anything for us.
yeah. You,
But Patty, I just want to mention you were on the Ropers, and I told you when I met you in person that the scenes you were in to me were like the most interesting. You had a great character. You played it really well.
thank you.
And yeah,
Yeah, it was a real pleasure working with Jeffrey Tambor too, because he was like
Yeah.
a funny man, you
Back
know.
then, yeah.
I was the least funny of the group, so not in life actually. I was probably funnier than most of them, but
Well, Norman's never funny.
so he did bizarre. Oh,
Yeah.
we laughed all week.
Norman,
I swear to God, we laughed through rehearsals. But
and he's so serious looking that we would never
oh,
think
No, but he was
Part of
he
his
became a
shtick, yeah.
silly
Love
man.
it.
I'm gonna tell you. Yeah, I can't tell you. But
Yeah, no, right, because all those guys we admired, so they would be in such trouble. So
so they'd all be arrested, you know, their careers would be over. Even ours, like, because women can't even say, you know, it's inappropriate when you
Phyllis
take those
Diller?
tests, you know. No, if I say, I have to watch, if I say, oh, that looks nice on you, Dan, he could say, you know,
She's coming on.
or
Yeah, I feel violated. Yes,
you can't say things
it's
like,
crazy. I know people that got fired for actually
I know.
commenting a woman on the job.
and how, you know, we used to, you know, well, I'm gonna date myself here, but it's so complimentary to have somebody say you look nice. That doesn't break my spirit, you know, it just, I say thank you. Or really, you know,
Yeah.
you do one of those responses. But anyways, it's just things are so out of whack
Yeah.
that I guess that's how all people at the later years feel about the world.
Yeah,
And
because
so we're getting ready to leave it, I suppose. You know what I
we
mean?
know the intent was not a negative thing.
No.
We weren't, you know, to compliment somebody or,
Oh,
you know, well, you know, whistling at a beautiful woman was,
Yeah.
you know, a common
She-
thing.
and
And
she
now
was-
they're saying, well, they don't whistle at the women who aren't beautiful. And I said,
Yeah,
well, if
After a
we
few drinks, they
really
do.
get in trouble, you know,
I get it. So, but yeah, it's tricky.
it's a different world.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I just worry about what we're leaving the kids. I'm really worried about
They must
this
be
AI.
really confused. I mean, I know I have 4 grandsons, and I know 2 of them are old enough to offend people. You know what I mean? To offend people that they like, or
Right.
people
Or
they
that
don't
don't
like.
like,
Whatever.
yeah.
And so they're being educated in a different way how to behave in life, how to navigate life and dating. You know,
Yeah, dating is a whole different
what
ballgame
a
today.
nightmare.
Yeah.
I'm glad I you know, done.
Me too.
Well, on that note, no,
Not happy now. No.
no, but you know what? The viewers, you know, we all feel it. We all feel it. And I think, you know, just keep sharing your values with the kids, the grandkids. Just keep sharing our values. You know, we got to keep our values alive. I think that's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a one-liner the other. Oh, I know what it was.
What?
I said, I'm walking faster now. And she said, why? I said, if I don't, they'll bury me.
Oh. Or that.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the best part about being with Patty. You throw out a one-liner, or she'll throw out a setup line, and you can come back with a really negative line. But if it's funny, she'll laugh.
Yeah.
She'll go, oh, I should beat you for that one.
I
But
will.
that's good. That's good. You know, and so, you know, you like in the play, we
Yeah.
dissect comedy,
Right.
dissect laughter.
Right.
You know, it's
And as I say, you know, there must be more some depth.
yeah,
And
satirical insight.
so not just a few cheap
Yeah,
laughs.
yeah. If you ever sit with the really great comics, you know, we used to play cards with Sid Caesar, and one night Jan Murray got up and told the story. We were on the floor. We could. I thought Don DeLuise was going to have a heart attack. Charlie Durney was, and Sid never cracked a smile. He just sat there and stared with his eyes. That
Think.
when it was over, he looked at me and he said, that may be the funniest story I ever heard. He was the first one to go to Jan Murray and say, Jan, I haven't heard a story told like that since Harry Ritz died of the Ritz.
That's it.
And the next week, Jan Murray said to us, says, I've been in a business 60 years. That was the greatest compliment I ever got. And Sid never once laughed. He just analyzed jokes in such prose.
Who were you talking to on the phone when you said, tell me?
Oh, Mel Brooks.
Oh, yeah.
Schuler Hensley played the Frankenstein monster in a play, you know, and he and Mel Brooks are very close. And whenever Shula was in LA, he'd stay at my house, and he never saw any of the old Sid Caesar kinescopes, which Patty and I love. So we had young people come over and we showed them it. And so Shula told Mel Brooks. So he went to Mel Brooks's house. He comes home, and on the speakerphone, he goes, Mel wants to talk to you. And I said, oh, hi, Mr. Brooks. Dan Lauria. He goes, yeah, I know. Charlie Durning's Fred. And out of nowhere, he goes, make me laugh. And I don't know why I just popped out. I just said, with my clothes on. And Schuler went on the floor. And
That's
nothing
great.
from Mel Brooks, a long pause. And he went, a sight gag on the phone, but it worked. Keep talking to those kids. You know, he had to analyze it.
Yeah. Sight gag.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And you were friends with Jack Klugman, which
Yeah,
I
gave the eulogy at both Jack Klugman and Charles Durning's memorials, and we were all good friends. We'd go to dinner all the time with Jack, Charlie, Don Dellery, Peter Falk, and I. And Charlie died, and I was literally in the room when he died. And I went to the theater because if I'd missed the show, he would have come back from the dead and killed me. And I got a call from Jack Klugman's wife, and Jack died this 4 hours apart on Christmas Eve. We called Paul Lieber, who runs all the Broadway PR stuff, and I said, Paul, is there any way we could dim the lights one night? Nobody had even known at that time that they both passed. And Paul, again, a long pause, I'll never forget it. And then he said, no, we're going to dim them 2 nights in a row. And it was the only time in the history of Broadway that the Broadway lights would dim 2 nights in a row for actors.
Yeah. Nice.
So they were the best.
they were.
Yeah.
We'll never have
Like
meetings
that.
like that again.
Oh, yeah. Well, the pictures up in of them reading together.
Yeah.
That was the last play they did together.
Now, my final question. I know you guys have to go. You're on tonight.
No, oh, we do, huh? Yeah.
What kind of legacy would you like to leave behind?
Me first?
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh. Boy. You know, legacy. I think that I would like to be thought of as somebody that wasn't outrageously mean to anybody. You know what I mean?
Kindness.
Yeah, kindness, humor. Definitely, I know my family will say that. And the hope that that because of, you know, having children and grandchildren, I hope that the grandchildren, my children are very nice people. I hope that my grandchildren bring something good to the world. That's what I hope. That's my legacy.
Beautiful. I have to say you are very kind and very sweet
Yeah.
and very funny.
Thank you. I like that.
She's always laughing.
Yes.
For me, it would just be true to your art. You know, Dan Lauria, he was true to his art. Say anything else you want, but went out swinging.
Yeah.
Right?
You there's no way you're ever stopping.
No, don't. Please
Thank
don't.
you. Yes, because
Yeah.
I thought I was stopped.
Nah, we'll do more.
You got a lot. Yes, you got a lot more to do. Well, thank you for keeping theater alive. I haven't been to the theater in a long time, so you guys gave me a good excuse to come.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
It was wonderful.
With us. And if you enjoyed it, maybe won't be as long before you go to another place. So then we did our job.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what's great about walking in New York too? We walk to the theater, we walk home.
Yeah.
People stop us that we don't know and say, oh my God, I saw you play the other night, or so, you know.
Yeah. Or
And-
they'll come back and bring people with them. Yeah.
And there is no subscription to the theater that we're playing at.
No.
So everybody that came had to have said something to somebody.
Yeah, we had a very
You know?
hard time getting audience during preview because there's no subscription, mostly half price and some kind of discount. But now, you know, we had to add seats the other night.
Isn't that funny?
That's
So
wonderful.
I hope we go out on a bang. You know?
Yeah.
Well,
Big bang.
a lot of people stop coming to see Broadway shows because it's so expensive. But where you guys are, it's very affordable.
Right. And then COVID hurt off-Broadway because they didn't rely on tourists, but after COVID, a third didn't come back.
And Friday nights are very tricky.
Yeah, Friday is tricky because people got used to getting off early and during COVID.
3-day weekends. People,
Yeah.
because people work from home more now,
Yeah.
so they take that nice stretch. So
Yeah.
Thursday night's like a Friday night.
Right. I just saw Tim Daly in a very good play by Mia Romeo with Jane Wilkinson. And they had a Monday night performance and didn't have a Friday night.
That makes sense.
And they said, no, we can't get enough people on Friday nights. So it's
Yeah.
a weird thing, but we're doing well tonight. So,
Thank God.
Well, thank God. Thank God.
yeah.
Well, you guys are such a blessing. And thank you for taking the time to talk with me.
Anytime.
Thank you. And thank you for that beautiful.
You are very welcome. I'm sorry I didn't bring you a necklace, Dan, but I will have something for you when I come. I'm
Let them
coming on
wear
the
it.
last show.
Yeah, the one with the herbs, and keep the villains away, keep the bad seed away.
The Maloika.
Yeah, Maloki.
Okay, so again, the show is just another day playing at the 555
Theater
Theater.
555.
Okay, and I will put a link in the description below the video so they can go right to the website and purchase their tickets.
Hope to
Thank
see
you
you
very
again.
much.
Yes, I will definitely see you again. Thank you so much. I love you both. God bless you.
Bye-bye.
God bless.